Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the We Do portion of lesson 29, where we're going to break down this lesson a little bit more in the understanding of the relationship between fractions and decimals. And from there, we'll get into actually dividing them. And I just wanted to say that I'm very appreciative and proud of you for taking an opportunity to look at this video. Whether you are just curious on how we break it down a little bit more, or you're struggling with that teach piece, I'm proud of you for being proactive to try this video out and follow along. At any point, pause the video, try to solve as much as you can, then play it to see how it was solved. And certainly don't feel hesitant to ask me questions either in the private comments or through Google Meet this Friday as we practice these. All right. And note that this is actually my third video. Uh, Hopefully it goes as smooth as the first two. I lost all audio. So you just saw me going, and how odd would that be? Anyways, let's get started. So our very first part that I want to focus on is the understanding of the fraction 1/10. And how has it become a decimal of something that looks like this as 0.1, or which we call 1/10? Now, as I do this, you may want to go to page 132. It's that left-hand side of your workbook. It's that blank page you can fill in and use this as a resource. But in order to get from here to here, there's a model that I'm going to draw, and I encourage all of you to draw this model. You have it in your back pocket. You can always draw it out. Okay? It's your place value chart. Notice I'm going to put in our decimal point. And since the beginning of the year, we've always labeled this as the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, and so on. But over on the other side to the right, we have the 1/10th, the 1/100th, and the 1/1000th. And nothing new there. So if we really wanted to put in 1/10th, we put 1 in the tens place. As we label that, our decimal stays the same and lines up. We have no value for the ones place, and then hence we get this wonderful looking decimal. If we change it to a different one, and let's say we had 4/10ths, for example, right, we would put a 4. Let's extend these down. We put a 4 in the tenths place. We'd line up our decimal and our 0 for our ones place, and our resulting number in decimal form is 4/10ths, or 0.4 as we have it with a shortcut. And that's really just what we're going to focus on, is the tenths place in this video here. And again, use that place value chart if you need to. Sketch it real quick. As you know, I tend to always draw pictures. So we're going to use this information to solve a problem. Let's say 5 divided by 1/10. And it seems a little confusing. Oh, there's 0.1. What do we do? But with our knowledge and going actually the opposite way, if we have 1/10 and we want to move through to get to a fraction, right, you put 1/10 on the place value chart, move up, right? You have 1 in the numerator and 10 in the denominator. You get this beautiful fraction here. So we technically could rewrite this expression 5 divided by 1/10, which is some of the work that we've done the past week and a half. So let's go ahead and actually solve this. As I move this thing out of the way, I don't know why that keeps popping up, but let's go ahead and solve that. All right, so in this next problem, here we have our 5 divided by 1/10, and which we just talked about is really the same as 1/10 as a fraction. And in order to solve that, I'm going to draw a picture. And I'm going to start with the whole number. I'm going to start with the very first number. Oh, I'm going to draw 5 models. I'm going to draw them pretty big so I can stay neat and organized. Make them about the same size. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put another one in. I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to label these put a different color. Let's label these 1 whole. And we need to break it up into 10 parts, 10 pieces. So in order to do that, I'm going to break it up into 9 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to do that for every single one of these. So if you need to, pause the video, create that, and let's find out how many parts you have all together. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Being that proactive genius, I'm going to label just one of these. You don't need to do them all. There's 1/10. And again, matches. You could say, if you wanted to, 0.1, label it that way. Right? Now, what it's asking us for is I want all 5 of these. I want to know how many pieces I have all together. So if I was doing the side of my pencil, all right, I would shade in all of this. I'm going to shade in all of this. I would shade all these because I want 5 holes all shaded. I would take all this. Where'd it go? Try that again. All that and this last one. How many pieces are there all together? And we can say that, well, there's 10 pieces all together there, and 10 pieces there, 10 pieces, 10 pieces, and 10 pieces. So we'd have a total of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 total pieces. There are 50 tenths, really. But our work is taking it even one step further. So instead of looking at 5 divided by 1/10, we're looking at, let's say, 5 2/10 divide by 1/10. So what would that look like? Well, we did all the legwork. We did most of the work here. But the only difference is now that we need 2/10 more. So in my model, I'm going to draw on one more hole. There's 6 of them. I'm going to decompose it into our 9 lines, or our 10 parts. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 lines, 10 parts. But this time in my shading, I don't want the whole thing. I just want 2/10. There's 1/10, 2/10. I can say that I used 2 parts of it. Now, how many shaded parts do I have all together? And I have now 50 and 2 more. 52 parts. Now again, I don't want you to get too bogged down with the work here. Right? You get a little confused saying, oh, there's fractions, decimals, and you're putting them together. Draw the models first to truly help you. Right? So let's go back through to our homework, or I shouldn't say homework, the problem set here. Page 133. If you don't have it, use a scratch piece of paper. And we're going to focus on, well, letter D, because letter D has that fraction in it, or that decimal in the tenths. Here, this one is very similar, letter A, to last week's, where you were doing 6 divided by 1/10. Okay, they mean the same thing. So really, we're drawing 6 holes, as we did moments ago as well, 6 holes, and each of them are being broken up into 10 pieces. 10 pieces, 10 pieces, 10, 10, 10, and 10. Okay, very simplistic form of doing it, which we would have a total of 60 pieces. Okay, and we would certainly go ahead and make sure that we labeled all of these as one whole, and you've labeled your 1/10 that you have in there as well. Okay, to be formal. But our lesson is really focusing on that extra decimal in here. So we're going to start by drawing a model of 1 1/7, or 1 7/10. That means I need one hole, And then I'm going to actually need another one, even though I'm not going to use the entire thing. I'm only going to use 7/10 of it. I'm going to label it 1 whole. And I'm going to decompose it into 1/10. As we remember that 1/10 as a fraction is the same, or as a decimal, is the same as 1/10 as a fraction. So we're going to cut it up into 10 pieces. So 9 lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to do the same for this one here, even though I won't use them all. We know fractions and decimals have to have equal pieces. So I'm going to cut this one into 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to shade in my pieces. I'm going to do a different color here. I want 1 whole. So I'd be shading in this entire figure here. There's 1 whole. And now I want 7/10. I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So as I do that, now I have to determine how many total pieces do I have. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This equals 17 total pieces, or 17/10. Amazing work with here. Again, I'm not going to keep our video too long, but I want you to notice that that model, again, is so helpful with our work. Go back again as a quick review. We're focusing on just tenths. We mentioned how these two are identical, they're equivalent with the help of our place value chart. And our work from last week of whole numbers divided by a fraction, those models help us, making sure we decomposed it into the total number as our denominator states. Right? But then as we go into a decimal, it's just an extra model that you're only doing part of it. Right? Even think about it, ladies and gentlemen, that this is 2/10. It's really 2/10. You're shading 2 out of the 10 pieces. 2 out of the 10 pieces. So I hope that is a little bit better of an explanation for you in our fraction and decimal relationship. If not, please take that risk and be proactive. Come to me with a private comment or a message on Google Classroom. Send me an email if you want so we can talk about it in the next lesson, or we'll meet. We can do it. You can do it. Stay positive, and thank you for watching this video.